Now, I'm very sure that there are some countries, even though some of these countries in Africa were also mentioned in the report by the World Bank as regards possible facing of drought between now and the next couple of years. But are there any countries here in Africa that have successfully done irrigation farming? And what lessons can Nigeria learn from them?
I think the world successfully done irrigation farming, we have to talk about relative success.
Okay.
Because we should not forget the fact that Nigeria is still a clear leader in the African continent. So virtually everybody is still looking towards Nigeria as a leader to guide them in making things happen on the other hand. Then when we look at the issue of droughts, and when we look at the issue of farming, we should not look at farming as just thing relating to only crops. Farming cut across even livestock and the like. So, because if you are having issues with, drought, we are now looking at issues that have to do with even weather itself. Because virtually all these crops require particular range of weather for them to be able to bring out the best yields in the year. So, when we look at the country that are able to really do it, I cannot imagine any country for now in the entire Africa, not even South Africa, that we can say they have succeeded in getting all their needs, met. Not because they still have to really import a good percentage of things from Nigeria, even South Africa, and South Africa happen to be the commercial hub of the Africa. Now suddenly Ghana is now coming up. I was in Ghana about 3 weeks ago, able to really scan something, and I will still be there from 24th to November 4 when they are doing their ECOWAS trade fair. So a good number of countries in the West, in Africa generally, don't have the capacity. Even if they have the will, they don't have the capacity, financial capacity, infrastructure capacity, to be able to really handle this drought issue effectively. I'm not sure. So
does Nigeria have the financial capacity and infrastructure capacity to handle it? Are they getting enough backing from the financial sector, namely the banks and the rest of it?
That's another big issue on its own, funding. How can anybody go to the bank and borrow at about 30% and you want to go into farming? It's not done. It's not done. And like I said at the beginning of this discussion, that even America, farming is heavily subsidized. Heavily subsidized. If they can subsidize petroleum products, I'm of the opinion that farming will have been even the first one to be subsidized. Heavily.
Okay, so for such a project,
yes,
can there be collaborations between 4 or 8 companies to ensure that irrigation farming is promoted as much as possible? Because, you see, there must be something, there must be some signals that the World Bank has gotten or is seeing that makes it to give this forecast. It's not on the mere whim or that they bring out such a report.
It's about a report of
so if we see that this report has said that there's a possibility that there's going to be drought between now and then, shouldn't farmers be coming together to see how much they can protect themselves against a situation like that? Because don't forget, apart from the fact that they're going to be putting food on the table, they're also going to be making money for themselves. Now, we don't want to see an escalation, like you said, of prices. Like right now, you said we are buying a ton of maize for 55,000 naira. Before it was at earlier part of the year was 90,000 naira, and there's a possibility it could cross 100,000. So, shouldn't farmers be coming together to work together to see how much they can save themselves and others who actually benefit from them in terms of irrigation farming? Because you see, they say, sorry to cut you there, funds are a challenge. But if more than 5 people pool resources together, you have a very big bank that you can, at least not so big, but big enough for you to work with a particular project.
Let's look at it this way. Farmers are there as a business concern. is looking for the higher rates on its investment. So it is government that needs to be getting worried, and sincerely getting worried, that it should be able to feed its own teeming population, not the individual farmer. The individual farmer is willing to make maximum profit from his investment. Okay, if I'm able to sell my maize for 200,000, 300,000 naira per ton, so be it. So, but government know for sure that they cannot afford to get things to escalate to such a level, because it's going to really create serious crisis, political, social problem, and also many other problems going to really ensue from such a thing. When people cannot eat, there's nothing imaginable or imaginable they cannot, dabble into.
Okay, but so, how much support has the state government given to projects such as this?
Well, the state government, they will try to do the best they could, but I'm not too sure if there's any state government now that is thinking seriously about such a thing.
Well, I'm very sure some states in the north are, like Bauchi and Kebbi and the rest of it, where we get all the tomatoes coming from.
I'm saying now, when you look into the percentage of the requirements and what they are getting, is it sufficient? That's the question. Because if you need 100 naira now to invest in certain thing, and somebody gives you 2-3 naira, certainly you cannot be getting the same result that you wanted to get if you have really invested 100 naira. I don't know if I put it right. Yeah. Because this thing costs a lot of money. For you to effectively process your plants when they come out and store them, I'm too sure it costs a lot of money and costs a lot of technical skill as well, which is not easy to come by.
So at what point are we going to see if it possibly happens, okay, and most farmers are hoping to maximize profit from the situation at that particular point in time? Okay. If we have the machines and proper irrigation farming schemes and all the rest in place, okay, will that probably halt the increase, the probable increase in food prices at the time if we have a drought?
Let me simplify the answer I've given earlier on by recapping the entire thing all over. If government can now say, if we are buying for this season, we are buying maize at 60,000, okay? Every farmer will have planned towards that price, and will have encouraged a lot of farmers to come into, farming investments along that area. The government can now go and start now taking the excess all over, or during the surplus time, when they're having a large number of crops that will have wasted away. Then they can now store it in their strategic reserve. But if they are not doing that, if you leave a farmer to the physics of nature and he sells at the prevailing price, it's either he makes profit or makes loss, he bears it all alone. We are exposing the entire nation to insecurity, to food insecurity. So government need to do more than they are doing now. They need to do more than they are doing now.
So apart from what government is doing now, and then also what we're seeing in terms of irrigation farming, what other adequate preparations need to be done to avert the consequence of the drought? And also let's look at the fact that can research and development also help?
Certainly it can, because water is not the only thing that serves as an input to making things happen on the farm. It's not the only thing. So we need to really look into the way we can get higher yields from our farming activities, both the crop and livestock and like. I remember that about 3-4 weeks ago, Chinese delegate came to Nigeria. They paid a visit to Nigeria, and we were discussing the issue of using modern technique to improve, and also bringing into the farming something a seed that could resist to a level, even such that effect that we are talking about.
So what modern techniques are you talking about?
Okay. If you plant maize, for example, it requires particular amount of water over a period of time. If you now have a product of research that now say, fine, instead of making use of 10 ml of water per day, you can now deal with 5 ml of water per day. It means even when there is drought, the effect won't be as high as the old or conventional seedling that were used or they were used to by the farmer. I don't know if I put it right now. So that is the area where research can come in. But there's no way anybody from outside the country can do the thing for us. They are strangers to our environment.
Yeah,
they can only support us.
Okay.
In the research, they can only support us. So a situation where we are looking towards a complete foreigner to now tell all this is done here, because they tested all this sort of research products in their own homeland, not here. So swallowing the entire thing, hook and sinker, may not be able to really have the same result as they do have in their own country. So
are we doing enough research to make us be like those other countries?
That's a question you are asked, which you know an answer to already. If also have been on strike for all this while, then where are the people who are going to really do the research? So, and the product of this also, they are the people who will go to the research centers as well. Are they properly groomed to be able to do any research that can really assist us? They are not. So we have a lot of things. We have a lot of issues on hand that need to really be addressed. So many.
So in your opinion, apart from all of that and all the other challenges that you've talked about in the course of this conversation, what particular investment and policy strategy will allow the development and widespread adoption of all the solutions that seem to be coming up despite the challenges that we've mentioned to actually help mitigate, not prevent it, because drought you cannot actually, it's Mother Nature. So what can mitigate the effect that drought will possibly have when, if it does happen?
I've already said that we should learn from the proverbial Joseph. Now that it has not fully happened, why wouldn't we start doing something, do more farming, and do more strategic, storage, so that during the time when eventually the full impact of this down on us, we have at least something to fall back on. I think that is very, very necessary. It is required. That's very necessary. That need to be done.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us this morning on the program. It's been an interesting conversation. Well, I've been talking to the chairman of Opoluwa Integrated Farms, Biodun Oladapo, and we've been looking at agriculture and the effect of climate change.